Shout out to Shot Money. I see you, my dude. Shout out to everybody on YouTube right now. Salute. We are, and if anybody downloaded the MJMG app, right now we're having problems connect to that particular server. So we're having, Miss Jackson, I'd love to see you on. We are having a little difficulties with the server for the MJMG app. So if anybody knows anybody, we're trying to, oh, there we go. We're problem solved. We are live on the MJMG app, as well as YouTube. Facebook, for some reason, is not working with us, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll work that out in its time. Shout out to the collective. Shout out to Tim Dog. Okay, we are live on all streaming platforms right now. Now I don't want to say all. Let me not false advertise. Shout out to everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and the MJMG Presents. We have a talented. Yes, we good. We are good on the app, Ms. J. We are good. We have a talented artist. And if anybody tunes in on Wednesdays for the A&R desk, you have seen this talent grace us with the melodic voice and texture that provokes not only thought and emotion, but even a faithful essence. We have Montreal Walker in the building today. We have her in the building today. What we're gonna do is we're gonna give some highlights. We're gonna talk about some creativities. We're gonna play some of the music just to refresh those who might not remember who she is, but know the music. We are putting a face to the music today. So tell a friend to jump on today. And shout out F and Genius. I see you. He said app is running. Thank you. Yeah, we are good. Everything is running. Facebook is running. Let me just make sure everything is tight before we go on. Yes, so we are good to go. All right, and we have, gotcha. Everybody's hitting me up saying yes, we're good. So shout out to everybody on Today with Shoe Radio. What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go into a musical presentation. This song is called you probably heard it on Shoe Radio. The next song I know for A&R Desk, I know for a fact you heard it. But we're gonna go on this to refreshing your minds. We're gonna go into this video to refreshing your minds, and after this video, we're gonna bring the amazing talent out to hear and discuss some of the journey, the travels, and highlights. But here, this is Montreal with Light, y'all. Check this out. This is Shoe Radio.
Sitting here going crazy, thinking about my future lately. Sorry, I'm not who you thought I would be. I know it may be different now, but I can see it in my eyes, how I've become more than you ever dreamed I could be. Say goodbye, 'cause that perfect image I was chasing was a lie. Find that light, 'cause all I had to do was look inside. Free your mind, opening the doors I didn't see before. Hold on to that light. Hold on to that light. I used to get lost in the waves, sinking deeper by the minute I was drained, reaching for the surface just to breathe. One day I realized how I could finally break out. It was always there, I just had to try for me. Say goodbye, 'cause that perfect image I was chasing was a lie. Find that light, 'cause all I had to do was look inside. Free your mind, opening the doors I didn't see before. Hold on to that light.
Don't rescue me, I've been laying low.
Hold on to that light. I can't try to be nobody else. I'm breaking free. I can't try to be nobody else. I'm breaking free. Say goodbye, 'cause that perfect image I was chasing was a lie. Find that light, 'cause all I had to do was look inside. Free your mind, opening the doors I didn't see before. Hold on to that light. Hold on to that light.
Hold on to that light. Words to live by. Shout out to everybody jumping on Shoe Radio by MJMG Presents. It's kind of exciting. I've seen a lot of fire emojis. I'm seeing, my man said she always had that dope voice. I'm glad you're grinding. And we most definitely grind. We've been blessed to have been playing these records on competitions weekly. And now we get a chance to hear from this person live and direct. So as we cue her in, we get it all squared off. We're gonna have her on shortly. But thank you for everybody jumping on, and shout out to everybody on the app. Sorry you cannot comment and we cannot see your comment, but we know the energy still reigns the same out there, is most definitely reflected in here. So shout out. And also I want to say to everybody that's on, if you have a question, please put it in the chat. I'm gonna do my best to make sure I get to it. If I don't, I probably didn't want to interrupt the conversation, but I'm always definitely try to get to it and get this information. I'm excited. I hope you are. And also, if you're an artist out there that's possibly looking to get that sit down in that moment, please reach out to MJMG and have that conversation. You never know, what's that. Shout out to Mac Drama. Salute. I see Mac Drama Brick Squad is in the house. So that is most definitely a great audience. People came to check out. To see. So give it a few more and we're gonna bring this talent out. I just want to make sure all our sets are straight. Magoo, I see you. And we're gonna go from there. I hope everybody's having a beautiful night. Excuse me, people ask me where could they jump on at. Like, yo, we could jump on right here. So give me 1 second, y'all. Let me just make sure everybody's on. All right. Okay. Oh, we'll be in a gospel brunch 1026 in NYC. Tickets link in her bio. Check that out. I'm in New York 26 to 26. That's not too far from now. I gotta double check what day and what's going on that day. I might pop out. I'm thinking about popping out that day. That might be a great day to do that. But if y'all do get those tickets, check her out live. All right. We just had a quick technical difficulty. Bear with us. We will be on set. But one thing I can guarantee, it's going to be a lot of great information today, a lot of inspirational message today, and great energy overall. I'm really looking forward to hearing the journey. Before the set, I do a tech check to make sure everything is working, because technology is not reliable as much, right? But when we was on the set, I said, I like to bring that human sense to everything, and we was having that brief conversation, and I'm really glad to have this talent, singer, songwriter, theater major, coach. I don't even know if she put you know um, vocal. I know she got vocal coaching in there, but like motivational speaker. If you ever heard her speak, it's like motivational speaker. There's all that wrapped in one. I'm honored to have her on. We got her backstage right now. We having a few little difficulties, but we getting it straight, y'all. We getting it straight, and as soon as we get it straight, we are going live. All right. So what I want to do, without further ado, I want to bring on this songstress, this talented being. That's everything. That's all the above. Check off all the boxes, and this is what you get. You get Montreal Walker. Let's invite her onto the show. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I tried to make sure I captured the essence of your talent and skilled ability, but I don't think no matter what one says, we will always fall short to really capturing what you deliver to us as a people. And I want to thank you for your gifts to the world as an artist and as a creator. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I want to get right to it, right? For
Yeah.
those that don't know, and again, there's a lot of people who are on right now that have seen your videos, seen you on A&R Desk, on many of our competitions. I want to talk about the young Montreal. I know there was a time when you were in school and a teacher heard you and was like, she got a good voice, man. She got to get into this. But before that moment, what was your connection that drew you to music?
I think music always felt like home. It always felt like my safe space. I used to be really, really shy growing up. You wouldn't get but like maybe 5 words out of me. But it was through music that I found my voice and, found my personality and who I was, and just hearing all these different artists growing up and being able to develop my own style from that it's so exciting. And I saw that that was the only thing I wanted to do. That was the only thing I could see myself doing. So yeah, that's just a little bit. I hope that answers the question.
Yes. So did you
Yeah.
did you transition from like covers, or you went solely into like writing songs and went straight into that? How was that transition into like finding or merging your thoughts and your heart and making it a vocal thing?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I used to always write, in a diary. And then I was thinking, why don't I put this into music? Why don't I put a melody to it? And so as I started to progress as an artist and as an individual, I started to come up with different melodies and just through like life experience. Then I started, sometimes I would create a song with just the piano. I'd hear a couple chords, or I'd hear the instrumentation. I'd say, oh, I hear the strings at this part. And through that, I started to develop my songwriting skills with one of my mentors, David Chance. He's a part of Rough Ends. I don't know if you're familiar with that group.
Yes, most definitely.
Yes. Yep. And so under his wing, and I really started to develop myself as an artist and as a writer. He put huge emphasis on writing. And then another mentor of mine, Jonathan Ball, he also helped me with my songwriting too. He's always honed in on that skill, always helped me develop and, grow my stories. I was big on storytelling. And then that's when I started to fall in love with theater as well, which I know we'll get into. But, just the idea of being able to paint such a vivid picture for people to see through music and through my writing, that was just so cool to me. And I felt like it was a way to really connect people with just real life stories, but with these really cool images behind it, this imagery behind it. Yeah. To bring it to life.
I agree.
Yeah.
So then that takes us to that moment that, I don't know if it was a principal. Was it a principal that was like, no, she needs to. So now I want to transition into that moment where the principal was like, hold on, she got a voice, she got to sing. Where were you at that moment, and how did that moment translate to who you are today?
Mm-hmm. So this is such a movie moment. It feels like it's unreal, but I promise it's the truth. So I was in elementary school. I went to Celebration Christian Academy. And back then, like I said, I was really shy, and I had the music room to myself, and I just started singing. Like I really started singing, probably not that loud. I felt like maybe it was a little bit loud back then, but just singing to myself in the room. And my principal overheard me, and he reached out to my parents and he was like, "You really need to hear Montria sing." And they were like, "Yeah, okay, okay." And he was like, "No, no, no, you really need to hear her sing." And so then after that, that's when I started getting pushed to the forefront and asked to sing more. And, breaking out of that shyness was a whole journey within itself, but a beautiful one. Um, but yeah, that was the start. He had heard my voice, told my parents, and that's when they started to investigate a little bit and
Okay.
push me a little bit more. Yeah.
Now, during that push a little bit more,
Uh-huh.
was music and theater running parallel or
No.
no? So let walk me through that moment that you kind of
hmm
got pushed a little bit more into the stage, and how did that form for you?
Yeah. So it started off with just music. And another amazing mentor of mine, Kishna Fowler, she is a world renowned opera singer. She had me sing this song called Summertime. And we had performed it at another school. Our school would travel and, do smaller performances and things like that. And so she had me sing the solo with her. She started with a classical version, and then it moved into this really cool jazz up tempo version of Summertime, kind of like how Fantasia did it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she introduced me to come out onto the stage. And I remember going out on that stage and messing up so bad. I was so nervous. I literally stopped like mid phrase. I think I forgot my words or something. And I just like ran off the stage. I was like, okay, it's over. It's over. And she was like, "We're going to have Montreal Walker come back out on stage
Oh,
and sing Summertime for you guys today. Let's give her a round of applause." And I would not go back on the stage. She had to pull me back out on that stage. I was shaking. I was so fearful. But then I finally summoned up the courage to sing the song. And that was the day that I got over my fears.
wow. That
Yeah.
that is one way to do it. That is
Okay. And it's just like, it's so powerful. I think about that moment because, like, it takes somebody with so much faith that believes in you, that sees the potential in you that you don't even see in yourself, to give you that extra push, to give you that extra faith. And if it had not been for that moment, I don't know if I would be here today.
I respect that, and
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of us can take into consideration because sometimes someone just sees the light. We're so close to it that we are it, so we don't see it,
Yeah.
and sometimes people see it. So that's most definitely a beautiful thing. I do know that you and I don't want to fast forward too far, but I want to give body.
Mhm.
You're a Maryland native.
Yes.
That's
Yes, I
right. So
am.
that's right. So shout out to Maryland.
Yeah. Shout out to Maryland.
I was actually out there not too long ago with another
Okay.
artist, and you graduated with as a theater major.
Yeah. I graduated with a bachelor's in fine arts with a concentration in musical theater.
See, I knew it was a long. I wanted you to say it because I wasn't gonna mess it up.
It's long. It's long.
So I just said music theater, and I threw the alley oop to you for you to actually do it
Yes.
correctly. So once
Yes.
you graduated from theater, so by then you already came into your musical sense, your feel, and musical sense is a life journey, but you came into a good feel. What happened after graduating?
So after I graduated, I decided to accept my offer, my contract with Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, and I performed on Quantum of the Seas, Star Water over in Southeast Asia. And that was the most beautiful 6 months of my life. Just being able to perform one, but then just being able to see the world on top of that, seeing places that I never imagined I'd be able to see, and just being able to meet so many different cultures and having an appreciation for so many different walks of life was a part of me that I will take with me for the rest of my life. I definitely think it had a huge impact on my journey. And then after that, the pandemic happened and
Yes.
everything kind of shut down. Thankfully, I made it back before the pandemic happened. We were the last people allowed off the boat at the time.
Wow.
And so yeah, it was a crazy journey back home, but I made it home safely. Through the pandemic, that's when I started picking up vocal coaching and, acting coaching and just teaching people and mentoring people. I thought that that was going to be a passion of mine that I explored later down the line, but because of the pandemic, it opened up that opportunity and got to reach the masses through TikTok and Instagram, through just giving different tips and, bringing in clients from around the world, teaching people in London, teaching people in Texas. It
Everywhere.
was just incredible. Yes. So that started to pick up. And then once the pandemic kind of ended, and we got into this new norm, I booked my first off Broadway contract, Sisters the Musical in New York. And that was life changing. Those women are like family for life.
I
And
love it.
they were definitely a huge pivotal start to my career. Then after that, I went on to do some more, did another off Broadway show, did some regional contracts. The most recent one that I did was Dreamgirls, played Effie. That was a lot of fun. And then did some readings, which are basically industry readings in New York for new works. Did those. The last one I did was The Last Night at the Rue Bayou, which was a beautiful piece. But yeah, just a lot of gigs, a lot of back and forth. But that's the
I, I,
life.
I, you humbly listed off like so many wows in
Oh, thank
between it all.
you.
Like it's so smooth. I want to go back, and we're gonna revisit that again. But I want to go back to that time when you were seeing the world performing for those 6 7 months, going through. How has that affected you as an artist, as a person, doing what you love and seeing the world? I know there's sometimes there is a balance that we have to face, or sometimes it's not even a balance, it just opens it up. But how did that experience affect you, whether good or negative? But how did it affect you?
It was great. It was actually very moving, to see a lot of the things that still stood today, especially in Japan. When we get into, some of the things that were happening, the wars and things like that, and some of the structures that still stand and their temples and just their honor for their religion and their culture is so rich there. And it just shows you like how you're just a small speck in the world. It is so much larger than what you'd expect. So yeah, just being able to go out and see the world and, through music, I learned so much too. I had some amazing, I feel like angels, like God just strategically places people in my life whenever I'm on a journey or wherever I go that push me to that next step or, see something that I don't see within myself, and just continue to pour into me. So I had some amazing mentors on the boat as well. And they really just they poured into me. They were like, all right, we have Royal Caribbean now on the resume. Now I want you to go do even more. Don't be stagnant. Keep going, keep going. Go to New York, move to New York, live your dreams. You're young, do this while you can. And so, it was just, it felt like a very specific chapter in my life, that helped me grow. There were a lot of times where we'd be out overseas and there'd be a lot of quiet time. So sometimes at night, I would just go up to the upper deck outside and like it was almost like the water and the sky just met and became one. And I wrote a lot of music out there because that's all we had. Wi-Fi costs, so it was a lot of being untapped from the phone, and that's time I wish I could get back. Not being on social media, not being plugged into the phone, and just like having time with yourself, with God, and to be able to write and just hear these melodies that, sometimes you can get distracted and not be able to hear as much when things are just so busy. Yeah, so it was beautiful.
That you paint a really vivid picture in your music, just with your words in general. Like I could see that and envision it.
Thank you.
Now transitioning from that into the pandemic, which a lot of
Hmm.
people, it was a hard time to comprehend as well as maneuver through. So you went from
Yeah.
like a bird seeing the word soaring and then was kind of restricted. How did that affect you creatively, your creativity in that moment, going from there to almost two extremes? How did that
Yeah,
affect you?
it was definitely very tough. It was really hard coming back home. You know, it was a lot of life stuff going on at the same time as the pandemic was happening. You know, all of us. I think a lot of life stuff was unpacked and unfolded
Yeah.
because things stood still. So we didn't have any more distractions. And so that was actually a really great time for me. Honestly, I had got myself into therapy. I have a lot of like family that are great musicians, and so we took that time to create more. I took that time to like work on our relationships, you know, and grow together. And like a lot of people I know suffered through the pandemic, but a lot of people also thrived through the
That's true.
pandemic too. Um, and so I think it was just a season of, I hate to say purging, but purging everything that didn't need to be present and allowing yourself to thrive in this new environment, this safe haven that you're creating inside your homes. And so, yeah, me and my little brother, we wrote music together. Hopefully, we'll be able to release it really soon. We wrote music together. You know, I did lives on Instagram, which felt different than having an actual audience, but it still gave some type of normalcy. Developed, you know, do new routines for myself. But yeah, tried to make the most out of it as much as I could.
And it seemed like you most definitely did. Just going to the chat, just reading the chat, we did get one comment said, "Mantra is so beautiful." So just
Oh,
wanted to share that with you. And we also got two requests, and I'm not really big on putting people on the spot at all.
that's okay.
So I'm just gonna they were asking, could they get a little demo of "Summertime"?
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
let's do it.
there we go. Could we get that intermission with "Summertime"?
All right. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Oh, so hush, little baby, don't you cry. Thank you.
So for the viewers, there's hearts and fire emojis. For the viewers, I gotta translate something to the viewers. What y'all just heard was control at its finest. She just didn't just like unleash it. She gave us all the dynamics and all the textures and all the intricate parts for us to feel it, still maintaining the. I had to get my engineer on
Yes.
with the volume control, so we could clearly hear it, get the fit. That's control right there. So thank you
Thank
for
you so
blessing
much.
us with that. I just had to translate that because that ain't easy.
Thank you. I appreciate
You
it.
made it look easy, but the engineer means like I don't think y'all understand what just happened on the spot at the spot. So
Fine, not playing. Thank you.
not playing, and thank you for being a great sport in that. So now in our journeys coming out of the pandemic was a moment for you to work on a lot of things, and we did get the same sentiments that for a few people in the chat that it was a moment that got them to grow and shed some stuff. But was there a moment before or after that you question your journey or your ability or even what you wanted to do, and if so, what did you do to overcome that?
That's a great question. Yeah, a lot of a big part of me felt like the pandemic could have possibly been a setback for myself. Um, and I was battling that thought a lot. I think that a lot of us were as creatives because everything felt like it was at a standstill. Um, you know, I felt like my time in New York, even that was pushed behind. And sometimes I feel like, well, I should be further along by now, or, you know, things like that. And to overcome those thoughts, I just reminded myself that God's divine timing is everything. And I would never want to go into something or an opportunity prematurely.
That's
And
true.
so in this time, I just had to continue to develop myself, my talents, my gifts that God had placed inside of me so that when the time came, I'd be ready. And then instantly out of that pandemic, booked my first off Broadway show. So God's timing is everything. And sometimes that time to just be set apart and to really hone in on yourself is not rejection. It's not a no. It's just redirection. It's just giving you what you need in that season. So it's just trusting God and believing that He's going to provide everything to you in the season that you're in. And leaning into it. And like a big thing for me was like lean not on your own understanding. You
Mm,
can't. And like it made no sense to me. The pandemic made no sense to me. The timing of everything made no sense to me. It's just like it's very easy to compare ourselves in this field, but
that's
you
true.
have to lean not to your own understanding. You have to trust that everything is going to align and work out in the right time.
That is true. That is true. Now,
Hmm.
a quick question: would you consider yourself a gospel artist?
That's
And
a
and
great
and
question.
the reason why I got something I'm gonna say after that, but I wanted to see your perspective.
Yes. So, short answer, long answer short, yes and no. So, through my music, it's all inspirational. It's all actually God driven in one way or another. People may not realize it, but I'm not necessarily in the gospel realm of genre. So that's where I would have to say no. But the message of God is there in every single song.
True indeed. Well said.
Yeah.
The reason why I brought that up, and there's a lot of people that are on when we brought that up. When we played your song for the very first time, I stopped the
Hmm.
music and I said, "Y'all didn't even realize the gospel was being said to y'all," and that's
Hmm.
how magical the song is. And I
Yes.
wanted to hear your viewpoint because what you just said actually hits the point that yes and no. The common concept of the gospel artist. I think you actually have, and this is just my sole opinion, and I wanted to share this with you. I think you have a greater gift of spreading the gospel because it's not tagged in what is normally known as God, which is a lot resistant
Yes.
on both ends, in the church and in the
Absolutely.
world. It's kind of like
Uh
resistance.
huh.
So you have a magical touch in spreading that inspiration. I just wanted to share that with you and thank you for that, most definitely.
Thank you.
We do
That means
have
the world.
we do have a comment, and I would love to read it. It says, I don't think you always have to label yourself the songs you create or have a genre, but an artist can really be creative in different ways. And that is the point that I wanted to capture. You didn't have to, and I love your answer.
Thank
I love
you.
your answer. That was most definitely beautiful. But getting back to you now, when you started to get into the Broadway and the theater, did you feel a comparison or competition between your talented side, like musical or theater? Did you feel that tug of war, or it was parallel with each other?
Oh no, it's definitely tug of war.
Ah,
it's de-
okay.
it's definitely tug of war every day. And sometimes I do feel, depending on the season, one is supporting me more than the other, whether it be financially, emotionally, spiritually. One is leading me more.
Okay.
But I do try to make them work in tandem. I try to make them work together, but does feel a little bit like yin and yang sometimes.
Get you, and that makes sense, especially
Yes.
whichever one you are devoting time to
Yes.
in that moment. I could see that.
Hmm.
Is there ever a moment that when you're working in the other one, you feel the moment towards the other aspect of you? I don't want to say was cheated, but you could have invested that time differently.
Mm, absolutely. I think it's hard because, in my personal opinion, I feel that both music and theater require 100% of you.
Mm,
Like even now, before getting on this call, I was chugging away at this audition that I had to submit by midnight and then prepare for this interview. So it's just they both require so much with time constraints, with management, with all those things. And so it is the hem of his garment and my Google Calendar that are keeping me keeping me together, you know.
I get you.
Um but they both require so much. And sometimes it does feel like they both require 100%, and you're not going to be able to always give both 100% realistically. Um, and that's where I rely on social media and just pushing something that I might not be able to put 100% into at the moment, but still pushing it forward and then giving my energy in real time to the other thing.
Get you. You mentioned
Hmm.
something I was gonna dabble into social media, and
Yeah.
how has social media um, add to or even add pressure to when having to utilize it in your creativity? What are some of the
Oh,
good
yeah.
and bads to social media in your perspective?
Absolutely. So I'm going to start with the good. The good for social media, the outreach, the fact that you get to reach so many more people and you get to build up a fan base and you get to connect with people in a different way. And depending on how you want your social media accounts presented, I like to carry mine as more of like a storytelling page and, showing like what I'm doing and just keeping people updated, like, but strictly for, music and theater.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to always be a representation of my brand and that, fun, bubbly person. That's what you're going to see when you see my page. And so I think that that's great because a lot of casting directors go to your Instagram, they go to your TikTok. A lot of music industry people, they're gonna go to your Instagram, they're gonna go to your TikTok. That is you. Websites, they're still important, but they're gonna go to your social media because they want to make sure that you're in alignment with their brand as well. And so branding, I know, is such a huge part. And then, some of the cons, absolutely, you can compare yourself to people. You see what's happening in
That's
the
true.
industry, and you're like, oh, I didn't get that, or I didn't get that. And, but then remind yourself, like, it's all God's timing, and you're planting seeds, all those things. And I think another negative is sometimes it's a time consumer. You want to remind yourself that you're putting out the product, not trying to take in
Yes.
24/7. And so it's like putting a time constraint on it is sometimes hard. Sometimes I find myself aimlessly scrolling and I gotta shut it down. I've just missed another hour of sleep that I could have given myself. Or, why didn't I just use this to post and let it go? So sometimes, you can end up going down a spiral. And also sometimes it's not the best for people's mental health.
Yes.
That's a big part too. You got to know when to be able to shut it down, and sometimes it is really hard because it's everything is very strategic on social media. So yeah, I think those are some of the pros and cons.
And you most definitely hit that on the nose as well. Now,
Hmm.
I know we speak a lot. You spoke and mentioned a lot about faith and spiritualism in your forms as well as directly. How
Hmm.
influential has that been to keeping you stable, and how do you keep maintaining that with all the worldly things happening at the same time, still
Yeah.
maintaining you and that faith?
Hmm. It's been my anchor. Um, it has honestly led me through everything. Before I step into an audition room, before I go into an interview, before I do anything, I pray. I talk to God. When I'm around in New York and I'm walking on my own, I'm talking to God and I'm asking for his protection because there's a lot of things that we take for granted. But the industry is a dark place. It can be a dark place. And so it has been that light, that beacon of light for me. Um, and it's kept me. So yeah, I think it's super important. It is like the number one thing that I lean on without a doubt. Because if I didn't have that, I don't know what would keep me anchored.
I'm gonna go up to the chat real quick. There is a question for Leego91, and they asked, "Are you an independent artist?"
Yes. Yes, I
Yes,
am.
she is an
Yep.
independent artist, most definitely. And how did you get involved with like the powerhouse of the collective? I once
Mm.
referenced to you all as like the singing version of Wu Tang, like y'all deep and
Period.
y'all put in
Yes.
that work. How did you get involved with the collective, and talk a little bit about that and how that has intertwined with who you are?
Right. That's a great question. So, Terrell Whitby from, CQ First Management Collective, he reached out to me on Instagram and he had no social media presence whatsoever. So I said, this is a scam. I didn't even respond for months. I was like, who is this person? I don't know who this is. This is a stranger. And I just didn't believe it was real. I thought it was too good to be true. Um, and so yeah, I was very hesitant at first, but then I eventually got around to meeting with my manager in a public space with thousands of eyes because I was not going to meet alone.
You did that
And
right.
then, yes, I did that. And then all the walls went down. My spirit said yes. And it was the best yes. It was the easiest yes I had ever made in my life. I wish I had made it sooner. And then to be around a community of incredibly gifted, talented Christian artists that all are in different genres, all have different what it's just it was like being in an amusement park. It was just with your best friends. It's like everybody is incredibly talented. And we keep each other on our toes. We keep each other, striving for our best. And so it has been great to have this collective. It's been great to have this accountability. A lot of times, so many people have so much talent, but without that accountability, there's only so far that we can go. And so it's been great to have that and to have somebody checking on you, somebody to encourage you, and to have a collective of people doing that makes it even more better.
That is most definite. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of artists that are on, and I hear a lot of people saying, I want a team, or I want to be down, or I want
Hmm.
to be something like that. If you had to give an advice to an artist, especially looking for a team or being a part of something, what would be,
Hmm.
from your experience, some words of wisdom that you would share to them about that
Yeah.
concept?
I would say if you want a team, you have to make your own opportunities for yourself. First and foremost, it's like presence is everything. I know I keep saying social media, but social media is everything. That's how you get your outreach. That's how you connect to people. And so that's how you get seen. Also, sometimes making an investment for yourself, whether that is just showing up at different open mics or different things that give you a platform for one, more content, to network. Your network is everything. So if you're not putting yourself out there, even if you're starting off with unpaid gigs, then you won't be able to develop that team. You have to be able to believe in yourself and invest in yourself. So that's a big, big part of it is starting to plant the seeds early on. And it might take years, but that's okay because it'll be worth it and you will see that team come.
You want to host my Wednesday show, A&R Des? You could just you want to just I give it to you. You could just set it off, and maybe more people will hear me through you, hear you than me. Like, thank you for that. You hit it on the nose, and we do have another comment, and they were saying how being an independent artist as they got older, it was harder to pop off. But do you have a timeline for your success, or he said he gets to say so, but did you have, or do you have a timeline to what the concept of success? I love it. No.
This is a lifelong commitment. This is a career. This is my passion. This is I don't care if I finally win my first Tony at 70 years old. I am invested in theater and music for the rest of my life. Yeah.
I
So there's
agree.
no timeline.
If you're not doing it for the concept for the rest of your life, I don't
Yeah.
think like success the chances of whatever level of success you internalize, you're never gonna be solely satisfied with it if you don't do it for you.
Right.
For you. But I do get what La Ego 91 is saying. It does get hard. I got
Oh,
another
absolutely.
question, and I ask everybody on the show this question. With all the information that you have now, if you could go back to the younger version of you and just turn to yourself and share some words of wisdom, what would you tell the younger you?
I would tell the younger me, ooh, that's great, to continue to develop as many skills as possible because they all intertwine somehow. Um, and then I would also tell myself that this is not, it's not just lateral movement. It just doesn't go up. It's a roller coaster. This whole journey through music and theater, this industry, it is a roller coaster. One day you could be extremely successful, and then the next things could be super stagnant for a long season. But that doesn't mean that you stop investing in yourself and growing and doing the things you need to do, staying in acting classes, staying in dance classes, all the things so that you are ready for that next thing when it comes. But it is a roller coaster. And to just live in every season and be in the moment in every season, versus thinking always about what's ahead. Living in the moment as well is just as important.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You giving out a lot of gems, and the chat right now is on fire. There's so many things going on in the chat. Matter of fact, they even having conversations about you with themselves. Like
I love
the
it.
chat is going, and I'm trying to go through the chat and give some people some light of their questions. But on this show, and I just want to do this now with everything said and reading the chat. On this show, we know that we're in the era of everyone getting their flowers. There's been a big acknowledgement of people getting their flowers. But we have this saying on the show, flowers die, but honor lasts forever. So on our show, we like to take the time to highlight individuals and talents and give them their honor. So for all the stuff that you do, the bright light that you share, the musical sense in the message, the story, the feeling, the thoughts, we want to just give you your honor and say thank you right now in the show for everything that you done and the people that you've touched that you don't even know you've reached. But thank you, and please keep and the show's not over just yet. I just wanted to take this time to highlight that with everything that was said and enjoying the moment to actually speak with you. There's a scene in If I Could Love, the video. It's one of my favorite scenes. It's right before everything starts rewinding, and you singing a song, something about dance, and you start busting your move. And I know for a fact, the cameraman caught that and was like, "We keeping it. We keeping
Well,
it."
actually, what's funny is, so the cameraman is my boyfriend.
Okay.
Yes, and the song is about us. It's about our love story. But that part, I was like, no, I want to keep it because it's like, it's such an honest moment and it's so weird and quirky, but like, that's me. Like, I'm not this perfect person. Like, I want to show this. And so he was like, "You sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Every time I see that, and it's the you bust your move, and then you do your laugh at the end, and I was like, that is a natural moment, Core, and that's one of my favorite parts in that video. And it's like in that moment, it's like, I know who that person is because we all know that bubbly, joyful moment. So I had to bring that up, but that's one of my favorite parts. In
amazing.
the video,
that.
that's one of my favorite parts.
Thank you.
If anybody wants to reach out to you, connect, possibly songwrite, get advice, vocal coaching, anything, what's the best way for people to reach out to you and get to you?
Yeah, so you can reach out to me on social media. All my social medias are Montria Walker, Montria Walker, or you can reach out to me via email at montriawalker@gmail.com.
You heard that, y'all. Y'all heard that. And if you could, before I have you, give your shout outs. If you could give just every talent or any creative songwriter any words of advice, could you please share that? Let's stop the music for now. We need to hear this clear. Like, any words of wisdom you can share.
Yes. Your project does not have to be perfect. Put it out. Put it out. Put the music out. The music that you've been holding on to for years, or the music that you've been holding on to and you feel like it's not good enough, put it out. Put it out. Just put it out. And then allow that room to continue to grow, and so that you can bring on, like you said, your team, more engineers, more people if you want that in your corner, to even refine it more. But just put the music out, and yeah, release the idea of perfection, because that's just going to hold you back. And what else would I say? Get into the sync realm, y'all. Get into the sync realm. There's a lot of money there, in TV, film, commercial. If you like jingles, don't limit yourself to just one style of music. Branch out and listen to new music all the time, so that you're keeping your ear fresh too, and you're bringing more inspiration to your personal music as well.
Let's get a clap on that. Put it out. You know how many times I tell people, man, no one's gonna
Yes.
hear it if it's in a hard drive. Put it out.
Put it
Just,
out.
just put it out. Again, I want to thank you again for the energy, the advice, the music, and the insight. Most definitely keep all that precious preserved in your journey and keep going. Before we let you go, is there any last shout outs, words, or anything, anyone you got to get to? The floor is yours before we allow you to continue on in your creativity.
Yes. First and foremost, big shout out to my Lord and Savior. God, thank you for carrying me through this career. Want to give another big shout out to CQ First Management Collective. I love y'all. Thank you so much. Big shout out to my family and friends, my loved ones, for continuing to support me through this journey. And thank you. Thank you for your platform today. Thank you for, just bringing us artists on here to be able to share our gifts and share our time and our words of encouragement. Thank you for this. I know that it's going to reach the masses. It's going to continue to change lives. So continue to do what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And let's give another round of applause, and most definitely thank all the viewers that are on the app, on YouTube, Facebook, as well as Instagram, who were commenting, participating and hung out with us through this time, sharing love and this community base. This is what we live for. Again, I want to thank you for being on the show. We got our eyes and ears in your direction. We will be watching and listening for all the magical stuff that you give us. Thank you so much, and I hope the rest of your night is beautiful and peaceful. You keep and stay blessed.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Bye.
Shout it out, y'all. Shout out to everybody that's jumping on, just jumped on or been on all day. Really dope sit down, really great energy. I think all the music that we see this artist Montreal put out always translates. It always been translating and mirroring who she is. Most definitely love it. Mac Drummer said I want to interview her too, Spud. She gave the info how to reach her. But I want to send a super shout out to everybody that's jumped on. If you didn't get anything, those last words was, if you're creative, put it out. It doesn't have to be perfect. If it's music, put it out. If it's art, put it out. If it's a post, put it out. Get the movements rolling. Don't sit and wait for the perfect time, because each other moment could be more perfect, and you might be the same thing that you don't want, and which is you holding yourself back. With that being said, we're gonna go into that video I was talking about with the dancing move. Keep a lookout for that scene, man. That's one of my favorite scenes. I think it brought true life to the energy of the video. This song is called If I Could Love. This is Montreal Walker. Y'all have a good night. Keep creative. Keep doing your passionate things and be the best of you. I'm Spud Brooklyn. This is Shoe Radio presented by MJMG Presents. Download the app if you didn't yet and check us out for more interviews every Monday, 9:30 p.m. Also check us out on Wednesdays for the A&R desk, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. All right, enough of me talking. Y'all heard enough. Let's get into the music. This is Mantra, If I Could Love Y'all. Check it out.
Take care of every need. If I could love you, I would never leave. When I wake up and see your face, I smile, and I feel your warm embrace. I cry when your hands run down my face. I stop, 'cause there's nowhere I'd rather be than here in your arms. And everything inside of me cries out for your heart. If I could love you, I'd be all that you need. If I could love you, I'd take care of every need. If I could love you, I would never leave. It's amazing what love can do. Lately, all that's on my mind is you, baby. The first night we met, I believed in love again. When you came up to me and asked, do you wanna dance? I said yes. Do you wanna dance? I said yes. And love has a funny way of coming around when you least expect it. And love isn't something you try to plan out. You just have to embrace it, 'cause everywhere I go, I think of you. I love you. I love you. I love you. If I could love you, I'd be all that you need. If I could love you, I'd take care of every need. If I could